Hey, this is Danielle from Black Business Boom in Black Owned Nashville, and I am live with Rochelle Gross, the owner of Unique for You Bookkeeping and Tax Services. I am excited to have her here. She's, first of all, been a great supporter of all the things I do, so I'm really excited for us to be having this conversation. But as we are preparing to go into next year, I wanted to make sure we had a tax professional to come and talk to you guys. We've seen a lot of changes over the last year or few months in tax law. And I want to make sure that the community has a resource when they have a question or they have a need to get their taxes done. So, welcome, Rochelle. How are you?
I am good today. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Can't complain at all. I'm excited to learn about your business, learn how you can help our Black community here in Nashville and all over our So tell me, how long have you been doing bookkeeping?
Ooh. Um, Technically, I've been doing bookkeeping for almost 20 years,
Oh,
about 20 years. I've just been doing it on my own in my own business for 6 years.
okay. So you went full time with it 6 years ago.
Yeah, I went full time in it.
That's exciting. So what made you get the confidence to take the leap and go full time and work a business yourself?
I really think it was me working with like several kind of smaller independent firms that were already doing it. I mean, we're not talking about like a Ernst and Young or something like that,
Mhm.
something really big, but just get like your everyday, kind of CPA firms, bookkeeper firms, stuff like that. And I was like, I can do this. It's not
Okay.
as hard as I thought it was.
I love that. And I love it coming from someone in the financial space. I think it's so important that as we entrepreneurs make a decision that we're going to go out on our own, we're going to leave our full time jobs, that we prepare financially for that decision. So this is a little bit off topic, but I'm just curious to know, like, what type of advice you would give someone when they are trying to make that leap and they're trying to get their finances in order, to go full time in their business?
I always tell people have savings, have at least 6 months in that savings account of how you can live, your everyday bills, your gas, your groceries, your everything. 6 months, or not just your mortgage. When people say, "Oh, have 6 months on your mortgage," no,
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Okay.
So that's one. And even on top of that, you really want to research what you're doing. So, if you got that business insurance, you got to deal with the business license, you have all these expenses that come with a
Mm-hmm.
startup. So make sure that you have enough money to do that, but enough money to last for a while in the business too. Because the business always isn't going to be profitable those first few months. And you might have snags if you're selling, a product. You might have, who knows, the manufacturer could backlog, several things to happen. So make sure to have that cushion in your business finances also, depending
That
on what
is a
business
great.
you do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really great point because a lot of times it takes a while to become profitable. But not only that, businesses have ebbs and flows. There are downtimes. Many times we run into cash flow issues, waiting on invoices to be paid, and we need to make sure that we're prepared for those situations as well. So many times we think about having enough to pay our personal bills if things went wrong, but the business has bills too. I pay a lot
Hmm.
of bills every month, dealing
Yep.
with
Yep.
being a business owner. And so it's important that we have that money set aside too. So that was just a side note. I know we have a lot of
Hmm.
business owners that'll tune in. And a lot of them are trying to make that transition. So I'm all about helping people to be able to do that. And it definitely takes planning. Now, I want to learn more about what you do, how you help business owners, but also how you help individuals. And again, a lot of my audience is going to be folks that are a little bit of both. So,
Hmm.
what type of tips can you give the very small business owner that's maybe running as a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, as they're preparing? This may be their first time filing taxes coming up next year. what kind of advice can you give them as they're preparing to maybe file their first tax return as a small business owner?
Probably the biggest thing I can say is, and I ran across this a lot last year. Your business taxes and your individual taxes are not separate. They are the same. So
Mhm.
you're going to have a 1040, and that business return, that business part is just a Schedule C that's attached to your 1040. So that's one, because I saw a lot of those issues last year. So it's one and the same. There's few differences. You got a partnership,
Mhm.
that's separate. That's different. That's
Okay.
not a Schedule C. Or if you're a multi-member LLC and you're not
Mhm.
married, that could be separate. But if you're
Okay.
a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, that's a Schedule C. Everything else is separate. So
Okay.
just
Even if
kind
you
of
have
be
the
mindful.
EIN, it's still getting all filed
Mhm.
together. Okay.
Yeah. Just a
Good.
pass through. So your personal income, yes. Which
Yeah.
is not bad. It's not bad. It can have some benefits to it.
Yeah, and so another thing that I want to ask you about is a lot of times as business owners, we want to show that we took a loss just to not
Mm-hmm.
pay taxes, right? And so I
Mm-hmm.
personally know there are some pros and cons to doing that, especially if you're planning to go buy a house or go finance anything. They're going to look at those tax returns. And if you took a loss, it's going to look like you took a loss, and so
Exactly.
you're not making a lot
Exactly.
of money in your business. So can you elaborate on that and what you tell your clients when they're preparing for their taxes and they're like, I just want to write off everything, get to zero or get to a loss on my taxes?
Well, I'm always going to tell you to be truthful. That's just the ethical thing that I'm always going to say across the board. But you
Mhm.
just literally listed all the things I normally say, especially if you're full time in that business. Now, if you're part time in the business, you can get away with a little more than you can if you're full time. But I always tell people that's when you talking about a mortgage, you talking about
Mhm.
the SBA looking to loan you money, anybody looking to loan you money is going to keep seeing that loss and going to be like, okay, no, that's not going to work. So you have to always keep a mind of being prepared in the future. One, if you're really doing your books all year, you're going to
Mhm.
see that net profit at the end, and you're going to be able to calculate. Okay, well, okay, well, I'm looking at this kind of net profit at the end of the year, so I need to be prepared. To
Yeah.
pay that. And there are things called estimated tax quarterly payments that you can do all through the year to make sure you don't get hit all at once. So,
Mhm.
if you're really, in tune with your bookkeeper or your accountant, then they can kind of advise you with stuff like that. But yeah, it's ways to make sure you can still take all of the things you need to take, but not it hit you so hard
Yeah.
and not for you to look like you're taking a loss, when it comes to financing. Because I'm full time in my business. I can't be taking a loss every year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't do my books like that. I do my books just as truthfully as I possibly can, but making sure that, okay, I want to go get that car next year. I have to keep that in
Exactly.
mind. So yeah, I might pay a little in during the year just to make sure that I don't get hit, but I'm still okay on my book side.
I love it. You touched on one of the things I was just about to ask you about the importance of having a bookkeeper, right? And so the importance of having a bookkeeper, one of the things is exactly what you just said, knowing throughout the year, what it's looking like, what your book's looking like,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of work keeping up with that. Like I told
Mhm.
someone I got QuickBooks, but like you got to go in there and do something with it. Like
Yep.
everybody is like get QuickBooks or get Wave or get an accounting software, but no one really tells you that you actually have to go in there, reconcile transactions, and spend time
Mhm.
doing that. So that's definitely a benefit in having a bookkeeper, someone who can go in there and reconcile all that and be able to check in with you and let you know how things are going. So I answered my own question there, but if there's anything else you want to add to why you would say a small business owner should really look to have a bookkeeper on retainer throughout the year?
Well, just what you said, but just even an add on to that is that I will say They're bookkeepers and they're tax people. So sometimes bookkeepers are gonna know some things the tax people don't know. Some tax people are
Mhm.
gonna know things that bookkeepers don't know.
Yeah.
So it's important also, and a lot of tax professionals do it. They'll actually offer, okay, well, these are my books. Can you look over it and see if I'm, hitting any tax things or anything that I need to do, maybe quarterly or mid-year or something like that. You can actually pay your tax professional, your CPA,
Mhm.
whomever you go to do that because some bookkeepers aren't going to know that. Now, I will have to say, in my arena anyway, I do both, but everybody does not.
Okay.
There are plenty of CPAs that do not touch books and all they do is tax. Some touch tax and
Mm.
some touch bookkeeping, never do tax. So it really is important to know who you're working with. You can ask them questions, ask about their education, ask, their job experience, ask all those things to really know, like, oh, okay, well, they're great at bookkeeping, I want to hire them here, but let me go look at somebody
Mhm.
else for tax,
Yeah.
that I can check in during the year to do that. I mean, so it's or somebody who does both, like me, and I know other
Mhm.
people
Mhm.
like me that
Mhm.
do that. But you really just want to make sure you need to be in the know because unless you ask, we don't always tell you, or we don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
just tell you, we just have that conversation and that's it. So really, really know who you're working with.
I love it. And so I was checking out your website. It's in the caption for anyone who's tuned in. I'm gonna let you guys know it's unique for u.com, and your prices are very reasonable. I want to really just put that out there because a lot of times we are like, oh God, it's gonna cost me so much, to reconcile my books or to have someone who offers these services for me. But it really, Rochelle is very affordable. She has lots of different options. She even has training as an option. So again, like I said, a lot of times folks don't tell you that, they tell you get QuickBooks connected to your bank account, but they don't tell you there are things that you have to do in there. And so she does QuickBooks training, some basic bookkeeping training for only $50 an hour. And I thought that was amazing just because again, a lot of us do want to do it ourselves. We are on a budget. And so to have someone who's willing to step in and train you on how to do these things yourself versus you on the Google trying to figure it
Hello.
out
Yeah.
yourself and watch YouTube
Yeah.
videos. You can get a live
Mhm.
person who's a professional who is an expert in what they're doing. And then also they can step in and do your personal and business taxes when it's time. I think it's a win-win. So I really urge everybody, if you are a looking for someone to do your personal taxes or your business taxes, ongoing bookkeeping for your company, or you're just looking to learn, more about bookkeeping and how to do it for yourself, that you go and check out Rochelle. Again, her website is unique for u.com. If you go to the services tab, you can learn all about the services she provides. Also, I really loved going to the About Us and looking at your mission and vision of your company and your commitment to helping the community. So I'm really again just excited for you to come and join me today. Rochelle, is there any other way that folks should reach out to you if they're interested in working with you?
I'm sure. Feel free to call me on my number. My number and my email is listed on the website, but my number is 615-669-5654. You can call or text. So if some people don't like to call or talk, you can text on that number too. So
Listen,
I'm
that's
all about
fantastic
that.
in itself because I'll be texting you.
Yeah, see, and so do I. I'll be like, okay, I'll text you real
Yeah,
quick. I'm on a
I'm
call
a
or something. I
texter.
can't. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, and again, there's so many different services out there, but to have like that one-on-one and be able to get in touch with somebody is like really cool to me.
Mhm.
It really having that personal touch and someone who's going to actually be there to guide you along the process, so important. So make sure you guys go and visit the website. It's in the caption. Click on the link in the caption. Go follow Rochelle on Instagram, and then also Unique for You Bookkeeping and Tax on Facebook. Let's support this Black owned business. Let's get our businesses in order. I think we've seen over the last year and a half or so how
Mhm.
important it is for us small businesses to be getting our financials in order, because the SBA is asking for it, all of the grant folks is asking for it.
Yep.
So if you don't have these documents, if you can't produce a balance sheet, a profit and loss statement, you're going to end up and you're not filing your taxes, you're going to end up in a situation where you are missing out on opportunities to grow your business. So again, Rochelle's here to help you. She's a bookkeeper and she also does taxes. So go to unique-for-u.com and check her out, and then also follow along on social media. Thank you so much, Rochelle.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your time and I appreciate all of the knowledge you brought us today.
Hey,
Have a good evening.
you too.
All right.